what was appealing about this was the combination of comedy, of heart, of action, sci-fi, but sort of grounded in the urban aesthetic that we've seen in the previous ones. The opportunity to the franchise that has such a big following and such a beloved series of films and characters to try and continue that on in some way and make it unique and fresh and try and find something different for that world. From the beginning, from the early conversations I had with producers and with Gary, there was an opportunity to take it out of New York and give it a more of a global feel, the MIB world, And so we're here in London, we're in Marrakesh, we're in Italy. So there's and we're in New York still. So there's I think it has a much bigger scope than we've seen before. I was really encouraged by the enthusiasm around the films and the built-in sort of fan base, I guess. I was certainly a fan myself, but every time I brought up the film to people, there was just, as you say, such an excitement about what this next chapter could be. She definitely has her reservations about him. Initially she's excited to try and be on the mission, but very quickly kind of thinks, hang on, something doesn't add up here. This guy is not quite what he's all cracked up to be, and she sees through the the facade or the sort of the bigger lie. She doesn't know why, but eventually she figures that out. But also, I think his approach to things definitely bothers her. When you put the glasses on, you have the whole suit and it all comes together. And Tessa and I on the first day for the camera test looked at each other and thought, wow, this is pretty cool. This is the iconic shots we'd seen in the previous movies, and now here we are a part of it. So it's pretty special. H has a classic E-type Jag, which is beautiful for all the obvious reasons, but quite unique in the sense that every part of that car was also a weapon. So we had a lot of fun when we're attacked by the dyads, the twins. We pull out weapons from the hubcap and the exhaust pipe and the side view mirror and the door handles and the gas tank and so on. There's all different sort of weapons coming out, and so there's a smorgasbord of alien tech, MIB tech in that scene, which was pretty cool. Gary has a great amount of enthusiasm and detail and an incredible visual scope for this film and what it could be and what it could look like. He has done such great, large, epic, entertaining films and also smaller, dramatic films. So it's great to have that combination. He can work within a big action sequence and then immediately sort of turn around and talk about a dramatic scene or a comedic scene. And so he ticks all the boxes for me and has been great to work with and hugely collaborative as well. And has stayed true to allowing us to improvise a lot. Often that sort of directors say that and then you kind of do a little bit of it, and then once you're up against the clock, it becomes about just getting the shot and getting what's on the page. Whereas every setup, he's like, okay, this is your take. Now, let it go, try something different. And I think that's where we've found the funnest moments. There's a real throwback to the classic sort of cop films that I grew up on, but injected with a sci-fi alien element, which makes it very unique and fresh. It is, there's a great sense of humor to it, and a great, universal scope, and we traverse a lot of landscape in this and a lot of different settings, but a huge amount of heart too. I think it always comes back to the characters and their, interconnected sort of relationships within this world, and what it means to work within MIB, and what you have to give up and sacrifice in order to sort of know the larger truth about what's in the universe, and that comes at a cost, and that is something that I think where the bond occurs, because they're all, there is an element of sort of loneliness, or sort of living some sort of, being a mystery to the rest of the world.